Hey guys, welcome back to Good Eats and Epis. Today we're making steak with homemade chimichurri sauce, mashed potatoes, and sautéed broccoli. All the ingredients will be down in the description box, so grab your ingredients and let's get right into it. First things first, we're going to start off by roasting some garlic cloves. I used about 6 to 7. Grabbed some olive oil, drizzled it inside of an aluminum foil, wrapped it up, threw it in the air fryer for 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, and it came out perfectly roasted. I feel like roasted garlic always brings an extra level of fanciness and deliciousness to the plate. This is optional, but I definitely recommend it. Next, we're going to make the star of the show, the chimichurri sauce. I always get the chimichurri steak whenever I go to a Mexican restaurant. It's by far my favorite, and I wanted to recreate it at home. So first you're going to start off by cleaning your veggies and your herbs. I threw in about a handful of parsley. I grabbed my garlic, threw it into the blender, added some dried oregano. Then I added some fresh lime zest, salt, pepper, a little bit of seasoned salt. Then I added some sliced up onions, scallions, and jalapeno peppers. I drizzled some olive oil on top. And added a splash of vinegar. Then I used my blender to blend it all together until it was slightly smooth but still had a few chunks in it. Now it's time to make our steak. So you can keep it simple with the seasonings by just using salt and pepper, but I'm one of those people who has to use their staple seasonings for every type of meat. That's just who I am, and I have no shame about it. I use garlic powder, onion powder, Tony's Creole seasoning, some red pepper flakes, and paprika. Still super simple, but I definitely feel like it adds so much to the plate. You don't need much because the sauce is extremely flavorful, the chimichurri sauce, but this is how I did it, and I'm not changing my ways, and you can't convince me otherwise. So next, I just drizzled a little bit of olive oil and rubbed it in on both sides of the meat. I made sure that the meat was seasoned evenly, and I let that marinate for about 10 minutes. While the meat was marinating, I started on my mashed potatoes. I started by boiling a pot of water, adding some salt, peeling the potatoes, and then cutting them up into chunks. And then I let it boil until the potatoes were cooked through and soft. Now back to our steak. I melted about a tablespoon of butter and then added the steak onto the hot skillet. I let that cook on both sides to get a nice sear. I prefer my steak medium well, but you can adjust the time you cook the steak for your preference. Once it was cooked through on one side, I flipped it. And then I added about a sprig of thyme and started to baste the steak with the butter sauce. I also added about 1 or 2 cloves of the garlic that I roasted earlier to make the garlic butter sauce that I basted the steak in. Once my steak reached medium well, I took it off the pan and set it to rest on the side. And then I started working on my mashed potatoes. So I drained all the water out of the pot, and then I added butter and garlic, the ones that I roasted earlier, into the pot, added some heavy cream, some salt and pepper, and I mashed the potatoes. Once I was happy with the texture of the smooth mashed potatoes, it was time to make the dinner plate. So I grabbed my plate, I added the mashed potatoes, I added my steak, and then I added some sautéed broccoli that I quickly prepared. And I poured on my chimichurri sauce. And honestly, this was probably one of the best meals that I've made. I saved that chimichurri sauce for different dinners that I made throughout the week. So I also added it with some salmon. I've saved some for some chicken as well. It was a similar plate style, potatoes and the meats and the veggies, but it paired well with everything that I was literally obsessed for the entire week. If you enjoyed the video and you're going to try out this recipe, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on my blog at Good Eats and Epis for full written out recipes. And thank you for watching.